That was Bombay Bicycle Club on Manchester 106.6. Listen to Funny People with me, Jamie Kilday, and we are missing a James Beck. I think later on in the show I might give James Beck a call.
Is that the James Beck that you talked about earlier?
It is the James Beck I talked about earlier. He's not here.
Can I see him?
No.
Is he?
But I might ring him later on in the show.
Can I talk to him?
If you can send in a text, 07757 083 438, if you have seen James Beck, and let me know where he is and that he's okay.
Yeah, or send us a text on 07757 083 438 if you just know him.
Yeah, if you know James Beck and you are listening to this expecting to hear James Beck's voice, text in and I will ring James Beck.
07757 083 438.
And I will ring James Beck with all your questions and everything, just and ask him why he's not here.
And if you don't have a phone to text us, then call on 0161 918 6911.
Or ring James Beck.
I hate James Beck. I've never even met him.
That voice you can hear is the comedian and impresario. Is that a word?
Lampoonist.
And lampoonist. George Cottier.
I just like lampooning things.
I think lampooning's a good word anyway.
It's so hard.
Lampooning?
Yeah. People think it's easy and that you just, being a comedian, you just sit around and think up rubbish or just nick other people's stuff and then go and say it. It's into a microphone, but it's really hard.
Have you touched on something there about joke stealing? Have you ever been in a situation where someone has stolen one of your jokes?
Yes.
And how does somebody go about if you're a comedian and someone's doing your material? How's the best way to approach that situation?
Let me explain what happened. That'll be an easier way.
Okay.
Right. I had this gag where what happened? I went into a charity shop, right, and there was a fish puppet in the charity shop, and I thought, oh, looks like it'll be a funny gag. There must be something in there. So picked it up, and I was walking down the street, right. I'm not kidding. People looking at this fish puppet and going, why has he got a fish puppet? What? And they're just all looking at it. I was thinking, I'm sick of this already, but no, persevere. I went and I came up with this gag, and I thought about it at home, and I went like that, and just went to a gig to do the gag at the gig, comedy gig, and as I was walking to the stage, right, people are looking at it, and I heard even someone go, "What's he doing with a fish puppet?" And all through the set, everyone was just looking at this fish puppet and going, "What is he gonna do with that?" Tried to ignore it. Went and did all my other set. I did a funny thing about how kids speak now.
Right.
It was really good. That's
how they speak now as opposed to how they used to speak.
It was like, how like some kids aren't meant to talk like in it, but
right, okay.
But they do talk like that.
Right, okay.
And it's like, hang on, what you doing? It's just about stuff that you like everyday life.
It's observational.
It is. It's like, look at that.
Yeah.
So I'm doing all that, ripping it. I was pulling out the gold and smashing them all around the face with it. And then I went to do the gag with the fish puppet, and what I did, I picked up the fish puppet, and I call it ventrilofish, and I put a little bit of masking tape over the mouth of the fish.
Okay.
And then I'm showing Jamie what they look like with my hand.
Yeah, he's miming a fish with masking tape over its mouth.
Yeah, but you at home can't see it.
Okay.
Because
that's the world
lazy.
of radio.
Yeah, all lazy. And so I had the masking tape over the fish, right? And I just went, "Here's some ventriloquism," and I went,
Right. Okay.
Do you see what that is?
Yeah, because you've covered the fish's mouth. That's.
Yeah, they can't. If it's realistic, they're not going to be able to hear.
Right. Okay. What the fish is saying.
Yeah.
Obviously, because it's got masking tape on its mouth.
And it also defeats.
So you did this.
Well, it defeats what I thought was really interesting at the gag, and what I was trying to develop with it was the idea that I've gone to the extent of trying to perform the illusion of ventriloquism, which is to project one's voice, but without any skill involved. And so it's kind of like, well, hang on, George Cottier, comedian, what are you doing? There's no skill involved in this. You're not a ventriloquist.
Right, okay.
Anyway, did this gag. It ripped. I mean, they went absolutely mental.
Right, it went well then.
Some woman came up to me afterwards.
Okay.
I'm not even lying. Right. And so it went really well. Doing this venture, I did it all over the country. I've done it in Nottingham, I've done it in Sheffield, I've done it in York, and these, they all go mad for it. And I'm not even in places where they don't speak English. I've been to Poland. I've been to Romania.
So you've done comedy all around Europe?
All over Europe.
Really?
I'm called Europe's comedian.
Okay.
That's what I'm called. And the best comedian.
Right.
So I've done it all over the place. Anyway, this little upstart on I don't know if you've ever been on chortle.co.uk.
Yeah. This is like the hub of comedy in Britain. I think Chortle, it's the place where most comedy news is broadcast, and there's also there's a forum on it where most of the UK's big comedians all get on and talk about comedy.
I can't emphasise just how important it is.
Right, okay.
That's something I can't do. Anyway, I went on it, and some guy posted a clip of him doing a bit of comedy.
Right, okay.
A little 2-bit comedy set. He had stolen my gag.
Is that right?
It was the same fish. I don't know whether, maybe there's a lot of these.
Okay.
So he'd not even gone and got a different puppet. He'd just seen mine and copied it totally.
So how did you go about... How did you approach that situation, seeing that your joke was being done by somebody else?
Well, being on the comedy circuit, you know everyone, literally.
Right, okay.
So you know everyone. So you could. I'd put some feelers out there. Said, "Who is this guy, Matt Price comedian?" So can you find out who he is? Has anyone got his number? So I got the number of this guy. I rang him up, and he just answered the phone. He went, I went, hello. He went,
okay.
Is that Matt Price comedian? He went, yeah. Shut up.
Oh.
I hadn't even said anything to him yet. He just told me to shut up. So I said, do you steal my joke? He went, I didn't steal anything. You're a liar. You liar. Like that.
Right.
Start calling me a liar. And then the most horrendous amount of abuse and swear talking just came down the phone.
From Matt to yourself?
Yeah, Matt Price comedian. He
Okay.
just swore his head off non-stop for about 15 minutes. I put the phone down. I went and made some some beans.
Right, okay.
Came back and he's still there.
How bizarre.
It's getting more and more elaborate about how I'm. He called me an evil idiot.
Okay. And then, so what? How is he going to stop doing the joke, or
He said
have
he
you
won't.
stopped doing the joke? Or?
I have to, because if someone that poor at comedy and a bad comedian is doing that, then I can't do it. He said on the phone, I said, can you please stop doing it? It's really important you don't do that joke. And he said, I don't effing care.
Right, okay.
He said that. He said, I don't care. I'm going to carry on doing the joke, and you're rubbish.
So now you've had to stop doing it.
Yeah.
That's difficult. That being that's a difficult situation. So you just have to go over it, I suppose. I suppose a lot of comedians, where they have their joke stolen, then it's a difficult situation. You don't know how to broach that situation. You don't know, because obviously you don't want to lose your material. And if somebody else, if you're in the audience and you see a comedian do a joke, you always assume that joke is theirs.
Yeah.
So if enough people see somebody doing a joke, even though they didn't write it, if enough people have seen them doing it, they'll just instantly assume that it's their joke.
Well, it's important, because then when critics like Steve Bennett come into the fray, they say things like, "Oh, Matt Price comedian's a good comedian because he has the ventriloquist joke."
Okay.
No one's going to know that was mine, because, quite frankly, I'm a bit more on the artsy side of the circuit. Even though I've been called the best comedian, and I do roughly about 100 gigs a week now. A lot of people will forget individual jokes, and they say, Matt Price comedian does it.
Yeah.
There are minglers. I don't use minglers that much, but if you don't know comedy term, minglers are people who are professionally on the circuit to be an intermediary between comedians, and so they'll go around and they'll be able to physically and verbally threaten someone who has taken your material. You can have your stuff recorded on Chortle. There's an archive there you can send all your jokes into, and they'll keep them, and so everyone knows that they're your jokes.
Is that right?
Yeah. If you email Steve Bennett, I think it's steve@chortle.co.uk.
Right, okay.
Just send him all your jokes. Put your name on it.
Okay.
Then that'll be stored. Just say, I want this in the Chortle archive, please.
I never heard of that. I didn't know that was something that you could do.
Oh yeah.
Sort of like a patenting.
Yeah.
So you can patent your jokes.
Well, Angela McAngela uses it all the time, and Paul Wall.
Okay.
Yeah.
How bizarre. Ah, I had no idea that existed. So that's a good way of combating joke stealing, I suppose. If you can patent your jokes, and then then if someone else is doing it, you've got...
Yeah.
patent. You can just go, that's my joke.
Exactly, and that's something that I know Rob Coleman is a very he's a big fan of.
Yeah.
And he talks about that a lot.
Okay.
Even in his set.
Ah.
Do you know what I mean? So he's so that self-reflexive. He talks about the archive and then sends in those jokes to the archive.
That's bizarre. That's like that's an odd situation. There'll be more from George later on in the show. Thank you very much, George, for coming down to the station. There'll be more of George and a few more questions to him. In the meantime,
Sorry, I just thought about Matt Price, comedian, stealing my joke again.
In the meantime, I'm going to play a bit of TV on the radio. This is Will Do on 106.6. That was TV on the Radio with Will Do, and I'm playing that as a mark of respect for the bassist of TV on the Radio who died a couple of weeks ago. This is Funny People. My name's Jim.
Oh, God.
Sorry, I thought that would be a nice thing. I like TV on the Radio, and it's a great loss to comedy.
What's the show called?
And the show is called Funny People.
It's called Funny People.
It doesn't mean that we can't have a nice poignant moment. And there we go.
On, then.
You listen to Funny People. My name's Jamie Kilday. James Beck isn't here, but if you have seen James Beck, send us a text on 07757 083 438. And this week's funny person is George Cottier.
Oh, yeah.
How are you doing? You alright?
I'm really good.
Are you missing the sun? It's quite dark in this studio.
I don't really like the sun.
You're not a fan of the sun?
I like driving through the sunshine, but I don't like standing in the sun. I'm of Nordic blood.
Okay.
My family are originally from the Isle of Man. On my father's side, and you know we're all more into sort of travelling to places by boat and then killing everyone on sight when we land. Traditionally, what my ancestors did.
Ah, okay. Well,
in the 70s. No, I'm kidding. As a joke. Can I just say that I just want us to just sort of take a moment to just think about all the people who die in the third world.
Okay. I've asked George to bring some music along.
Oh yeah.
And you've picked 3 songs,
yes.
And the first one that I wanna talk about first is the one that's taken from the TV series Horrible Histories.
Yeah.
Now this is the song Charles II, the King of Bling.
Yeah.
Do you want to set the song up? Do you want to tell us why you picked it as a song you wanted to play on the air?
Charles II was the 3rd Stuart monarch of England. There'd been loads before for Scotland, hadn't there? I just think he's really good. To be honest, during the Civil War before him, I would have been on the Roundhead side because I just think they had a better kind of, idea of having short hair.
Right.
And cutting off people's heads.
So, but you've picked the Charles II, King of Bling. Was there any other songs in Horrible Histories that you thought you would have gone for?
No.
No, just this one.
Yeah. Well, there are other ones, but I mean, there's one about monks that's good. Go on YouTube, look at the one on monks. There's a good one on Boudica. I quite like Boudica. She did some horrible things, but people like to forget that, don't they?
Okay.
Burning cities to the ground.
But you chose Charles II's The King of Bling. Do you want to give it a big introduction while I play it?
Yeah. Here's Charles II, King of Bling. It's about a man who just, I don't know, he's a bit lazy with ethics.
My name is Charles II. I love the people.